Video is intended to describe a Lightblade ring named Royal Virtue. Joining me today will be my whimsical stick figure chakra map with the Ark of the Covenant being my paperweight as a visual guide reference to the chakra stimulation of this intended device. So first things first, with the name archetypally designated as the Ring of Royal Virtue, it best have the stones to back that, pun very much most certainly intended. So starting off right away, we'll be discussing the blade bandishing sequence. But actually, before that, I'll discuss something very special about this little brass ring that is the core of this entire device. If I can get the focus to behave itself. So under here are the four classical elements utilized by alchemists, particularly the Renaissance era, of earth, fire, water, and wind, which is very appropriate for the office of the recipient being a lore master, librarian, wizard. So having the classic elemental spectrums of course, what looks like triangles with certain lines for the classic four elemental spectrums is very appropriate for the royal virtue of this entire construct. As a nice little preface. So speaking of the stones to back that concept, so it's a quite simplistic ignition sequence, starting off with clear quartz to be a neutral ambient acceleration of the energy in the closed loop circuit, as well as clear quartz, of course, is a very effective neutral programmable carrier, which indeed can put it in the sphere of being consciousness-assisted technology with the impulses of magic of the recipient running current through the construct, which gives a nice little neutrality and versatility based on the intentional will of the divine will through the recipient's magical broadcasting, if you would. So, continuing on with the concept of the hardware of this construct, starting off with blue sapphire. Blue sapphire is a very impeccable, intensive, corundum-based blue-ray stone of great notarization in royal antiquity, for the aspect of being a tremendous wind elemental, 5th and 6th chakra stimulant, virtually unrivaled in the mineral kingdom based on its dense atomical structure of oftentimes being at 8.5 or 9 out of hardness out of 10, that makes it a very dense atomical structure. Then going into the clear quartz to ignite the sequence neutrally into lapis lazuli, another classic blue-ray stone of antiquity that is very, very prized and literally is a favorite of millions for thousands of years for a very good reason. So lapis, just like blue sapphire, carries the same concentration stimulation of the chakra column of the 5th and 6th chakras, that being of the wind elemental spectrum as well. So the combination of the two, ideally, would be a very impeccable, intensive combination of 5th and 6th chakra activation, with the clear quartz working as the neutral accelerant of this entire closed loop circuit that obviously is a ring, so of course can be worn like a ring, for example. Also set upon very dense, strong wires so that breakage is not a concern. So that's pretty simple to mention that on the topical surface of just a blue sapphire, clear quartz, blue lapis, and a closed loop circuit being a very intense perpetual concentration, both of them, of the 5th and 6th chakra column, which ideally would work very well to honor the aspect of royal virtues being highly intensified, magnified in the recipient's auric field right there. So, and also, obviously, now that they've been notarized, both these stones are quite famous in metaphysical lore for quite literally thousands of years, of blue sapphire being a great stone of royalty, as well as lapis being a great stone of royalty in the Egyptian mystery schools quite famously as being a stone of Isis. And so when you take the two combinations of two very famous precious stones, that of course derives a lot of faith in the morphic field of humanity, long believing these two stones to be very magical, which of course governs the aspects of manifestation in reality. So both of these stones have a great deal of faith imbued upon them for their magical capacities in a more modernized rendition of a vibrational circuit. So there you go. Quite simple, quite succinct, concise, and consolidated, and comprehensive at least, is the aspect of royal virtue in a ring format. Another aspect too, which I will mention before I sign off for this video, is that the recipient who's getting this particular augmented ring already has a very aggressive rendition of a construct based on the Love Currency platform that has been developed by the wonderful Wizard of Sedona, Mr. Stephen Ross, And so the pre-existing construct is a very, very aggressive rendition of this love currency platform that still probably stands up to being the most powerful output to size ratio generator of my life's work so far. And the big idea of this technically wearable construct is that it can work as a fourth oscillation ring for a pre-existing construct that's quite built out and quite intensive, to sit atop of the pre-existing construct like so, which actually has a clear quartz pyramid in the middle to be an apex focus, which of course will not obstruct the projection ray of the pyramid when placed on the pre-existing construct, which in theory would serve as another oscillation ring of extreme fifth chakra focused higher truth with the sixth and fifth chakra in tandem to be that of royal virtue, which would be developed to be very advantageous for any kind of great wisdom conveyance, particularly in podcasts, things of that nature, that are part of his endeavors. So that'd be quite simply it, as a removable, and of course obviously can be placed at the discretion or basically the prerogative of the wielder to have a slight oscillation pitch of the pre-existing aggressive construct based on the love currency platform, like so, which could be of course placed on top of the construct like so, an example of being on a desk during a podcast or interview, things of that nature, or even doing diligent research with his life work as a lore master librarian, for example. So, there we have it. That'd be the simplicity of the Ring of Royal Virtue, and that went by pretty quick, and I pray for 1,000 blessings for anybody that watches this, and may you have a royal, virtuous day.